Couple of projects going on, but today this project is going to be staining a fence, and I'm going to use a smaller paint sprayer from Wagner. Normally I use my full-size sort of commercial sprayer, which is what we've done on this fence and at the fence at home. I got those videos up online. In the description below I'll link to this sprayer that I'm using, and I'll also link to the larger one that I use at home, the Graco, which is my favorite. But just, I have a small project here, so let's go do this. Howdy. So we've only got a few days left down here at the beach house. I got to finish up. I got a lot of projects to finish up. I got a bunch of stuff going on. But we're finishing up the lawn guides, and make sure you understand that the lawn guides are available now. So if you go to freelawncareguide.com, it's Bermuda, zoysia, and all the cool season grasses. There are links on that page. Will take you to the different guides. And those guides also have calendars on them. So those calendars will actually walk you through the entire year. And then the lawn guides break down every single subject. So make sure you get the lawn guides. There's no app to download. They're up, nothing to sign up for. They're there, so use them. So anyways, let's do this fence project real quick. So this entire fence we had custom built. This is just like the fence we have at home. And I actually sent the design down to my fence guy here, and he replicated that fence here. So this goes all the way around the pool system. And we came down here with the Graco sprayer, and we sprayed it with the Graco. Now, when we normally stain this kind of fence, I'm going to be using a full respirator, goggles, everything. Trust me. When you're doing a big, long project like this, you want a full respirator system. Here, I'm not really worried about it. It's just a simple little fence. But please, get one of the good full respirator face and goggles, because you will be breathing those fumes all day long on a project like this. But here's the little fence we had built around the pool pump. The one thing that's nice about the Olympic Maximum is you don't have a big concern about moisture issues. With a normal stain, you want to be below 12% moisture. I'll show you that in a minute. With the Olympic Maximum, you can actually go out the day after a rain. It's on their website. You can actually go out the day after a rain when the wood is wet and apply it. And why is that? It's because you have a hybrid molecule. It's sort of an acrylic, and inside that acrylic drop is a drop of oil, and as it slowly soaks in, that oil gets released. So you can actually put this on right after a rain with the Olympic. The majority of stains, they want a 12% moisture rating, which is hard to come by on a stained fence. So I've had this fence covered up for almost a week with a tarp. If you see the tarp behind me, I've had that tarp on it because we've had cold weather and we've had some rains, and it just wouldn't get down moisture-wise. The sun never hits this. Now my fence out front was down to a 9% within 3 days. So it's gonna vary. Let me show you the meter. You don't have to have one of these. I'll link to it down below, but it really is helpful. It just has two little prongs. You're gonna turn it on, and then you're going to go over and you're going to test your wood. So let's do that real quick. Again, with the normal humidity and weather out here, I could not get this down below 12%. 11.4, and you can see it says low. It'll beep if it's high. Mid, that's good. 10, 11. So I'm good there. My fence is really dry now, ready for the stain. All your stains will have a temperature rating on them. I believe this stain, I'll have to look at it, but it's probably something like not below 45 degrees or 50 degrees, and not above probably 80 or 85. What really bothers stain is when you have a 90-degree day, the sun is hitting on your fence, and you spray it and it dries like that. You want that stain, you want to give that stain a time to absorb slowly. That's why you can even, I showed this in one of my last videos, you can actually come out and mist your fence and then apply the stain. So you have to plan your stain out. So if your sun's coming up in a certain direction, in the morning go out and hit the areas where the sun is hitting first. Get that done. And then in the afternoon, where you're going to get shade, then you can come back and stain it. You just don't want that fence to be 140 degrees from baking in the sun all day. Spray stain it, dries like that. Doesn't have time to absorb in. This stain cleans up with soap and water. This is a hybrid stain, the Olympic Maximum. It's getting kind of hard to find. I think Lowe's used to sell it, and now they don't, and I got this at Home Depot, by the way. I've taped off all my areas to have more detail to them, and then the other thing I'm going to use is I'm going to use just a little board so I can go around and board and shoot in here. Now, this sprayer is made for thin stains, lacquers, polyurethanes, and that kind of stuff. It's really not a thick paint sprayer. One of the things about this is you can actually have it like this. See how this nozzle is painting this way? So when you're spraying down, it'll actually go in and suck up out the other one. Then you can turn this around. You can turn it the other way, so if you're spraying up, it's kind of hard to do that midstream, but I'm going to keep it like this, so I know I need to keep pointed down more. The other thing is, as you turn this thing here is going to shoot like this, going to have a straight line. When you turn it the other way, it's going to shoot straight like this. When you turn it halfway, it shoots an oval. So you have different spray patterns on there. There's a little adjustment knob here. And as you adjust this, the more you push on this, the more product comes out. Okay. I did solid white stain with this on the doors that we had, the doors that we installed, and I had to cut that down a whole lot. I had to cut it down like 4 to 1 because solid white stain is really like a paint, and when I'm spraying it, it comes out kind of speckly. So I used this to apply it even, and then I went right back with a brush, and it came out really good. This is not a really good paint sprayer, by the way, but this is good for stain job. Another thing I've learned about staining with this type of stain is while your stain is wet, go back and touch up. Get it the tone that you want. Don't come back when it's dry because it'll already be sealed. Come back while it's still wet. So work on an area, look for any light areas, and rework it. So now I got to do the inside, which I won't bother you with. I will say that this produces a large amount of overspray, unlike the Graco models, the regular sprayers. And I'm definitely not getting as much coverage per gallon. The Graco that I'll link to below, my reel system, I think you get almost double the coverage with that system. And stain is $30 to $45 a gallon. I think it's worth actually upgrading and not going with this and upgrading to the Graco system, which I'll link to down below. That's all done. So now that fence, when it tones down, will actually match this fence back here. So it's the same. We didn't want to paint it white because it would be boring to have the white stairs and all this white. We wanted a color pop, and then we're going to come put some art, some kind of metal art down here on this. That came out good. So what's my impression of this Wagner model versus my Graco? My impressions, if you have a small project, if you're doing some furniture, if you're doing cabinets, something that has a thin lacquer to it or thin stain, it's pretty good. I would not use this inside, by the way. This is a very high volume overspray sprayer. What ends up happening is you can feel it if you hold the canister on there. It actually blows air pressure into that canister, and then that forces the spray out. Versus something like my Graco, which is a much finer, more controlled spray. You can actually have a whole lot less overspray. You can control the pressure. You have a lot more controls with it. So I would say, for me, I would say get a Graco and also get a short hose. One of the problems with Gracos is that, you usually have 50, 75, 100 feet of hose, and all that stain goes in the Graco. Well, if you can get like a 10, 20-foot hose, it makes it real convenient for small projects like this. But the Graco sprayer is just, man, what a difference. Volume-wise, this little fence almost took half a gallon of stain, front and back. Now, I put it on pretty heavy, but man, I should be able to do a lot more than that. If I had my Graco sprayer, I'd probably, with a half-gallon stain, I'd probably be able to do, I would say, probably almost this whole fence over here with my Graco, just because it's even and it's a more light mist spray. So I think it's worth the extra investment to go up to more of a commercial sprayer, because stain and paint is so expensive. This good stain, I mean, it's $35 to $45 a gallon for a good quality stain. Paint, same thing. Paint is expensive. So I will tell you that it does not do well on paint. Again, I'm going to stress that. It does not do well on paint. I had to almost 4-to-1 ratio. I had to really water down my solid white stain to do those doors. Hope that helped. Get the lawn guide. Talk to you later. Dot.